Hello, interesting people. Welcome to Nick's Interest. Today's video, books that lived up to the hype, 2025. So this will be going in order of beginning of the year to end of the year. And the first book that lived up to the hype in the last year was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And this book is a classic, and to me it is. Some of the reasons why I liked it personally was because of the prose, the story. I really liked the setting. I thought the setting fit the story very well, and that, like, I don't know. The reason why I'm saying that though is because it's a real life location or real life like thing, you know what I'm saying? So like oftentimes when movies, like books, we're talking about books, when books are based on real life places, sometimes I feel like somehow they missed the mark on the setting. Does that make sense? Even though it takes place in like a real world location, it's like, sure, it should have taken place there, you know? But I think for this book though, the setting very much does fit it. I think it adds and enhances and just brightens and brings it to life. So another thing would be the time period. I really like the era it takes place in. I really like that because of the movie. I think the movie really just like picturized it for me, and just like it's like, wow, I feel it now. I see it now. I like the characters a lot. I think the characters are very fun. They're very engaging, and they're fun to read. And I already said this, but I like the movie. I think the movie is just as good as the book. And if you are somebody that has read this book, watch the movie. If you've seen the movie, watch the book. Read the book. The next book is The Giver. That was the next book to live up to the hype in 2025. And I liked this book a lot. I think it is to most people a classic, generally read in high school. But for me though, I think I did read this book in high school, but I read it again as an adult. I didn't read it. I listened to the audiobook, and I found it very touching. I always found the book touching, but I found that like it made me very grateful. It filled me with a lot of gratitude to be like, just like to have color in my life. This book kind of made me realize that like color is enlightenment. I think oftentimes people associate like light and like sight with being enlightenment, but I think now I associate like just the little colors themselves with being like enlightenment too, with the light, because that's what light is. It's just colors. So I think it makes sense to be like, oh, colors are also enlightenment, and this book made me very grateful for colors in my life. The next book is The Ultimate Book of Optical Illusions. I found this book at a little free library, and like I was so stoked because it looked really sweet. It was just a bunch of images that were just like mind-bending and twisting and looked unreal, and I was just like, what is this? And I was just like, yo, like, let's see what this is about. Like I said, I barely had any words, so it was just mostly images, and I got through it pretty fast. And they were very sweet, and they were very like puzzling kind of to look at. Like, makes me wonder how somebody like can paint that stuff. Like, I think I can picture how they can conceive stuff, but like to like have it go from your mind to like hard construct in reality, that's like, yo, like that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, dog. Yeah, dog. But I would say this book is underrated. I don't really know anybody that knows about it. Like, but I think it would be a great book for like families. In fact, when I was finished with the book, I took it to my library, and it just so happens there was a dad and his son right there at the library I used to go to. Has a little free library in front of it, and I was just taking it there because like, oh yeah, somebody would definitely see it here. And I saw them, and I was like, hey, would you guys be interested in this book? Flipped a few pages for them, and I was like, yo, I think your son would be really cool. I think you would actually get more out of it, because your son would be like, this is breaking my brain. But you'd be like, I wonder how this is done. You actually have like thoughts about it, you know? So, but yeah. But yeah. The next book is Watchmen by Alan Moore, and I don't know the title of the Giver book. I don't know who wrote that book. Something Lowry, Lois Lowry, or something like that. I think that's what it is, like Lois Lowry or something like that. But yeah, Watchmen by Alan Moore is a book that absolutely lived up to the hype. This was the second time I read this book. I read it originally in high school, even did a presentation on it, because back then I liked the book so much, and I just so happened to be like reading it at the right time. I was like, let me do a presentation on this. I read it again last year, and I was like, wow, like yeah, I see why I made a presentation. Like, but yeah, like, but yeah. But yeah, I'd say something this book definitely has that's like a newer term is aura. I think this book cooks in aesthetics, in looks, in like vibes. I forgot, you guys probably don't know him, maybe you do, but there's a YouTuber named Nathan Zed, and he once said that something, I don't know what exactly he said, but he said like vibes over aesthetic, or like some things in like media or like in art are more vibes than like substance or something like that, or more vibes, yeah, something like that. But like he was basically saying like the movie The Batman was like a very vibey movie for him. He felt like, I don't think he said he like understood the movie too much or something, but like he felt the vibes of it and he loved it. And I watched the movie too, and I was like, oh, I feel the vibes, bro. I feel the vibes. Like, but yeah. But yeah, so like I'm saying though, this book, I felt the vibes. I was like, wow. But yeah, the story is actually really freaking good. Like, this man cooked. Also, I don't know who the artiste is, the drawer, but my man's also cooked. I am such a huge fan of this art style, how it looks. It's not like flashy or anything like that. Like, I never thought it was too pretty, but like it was like, I always thought that the story was like enchanting. Like, it really engrossed me into that world. I really felt for those characters. Speaking of characters, that was definitely a huge highlight of this book, is all the characters. They all have like very rich stories and very engaging stories. And I guess I think I wanted all of them to triumph. Like, I didn't really dislike any of the characters. Some of them had interesting motives, but interesting characters. But yeah. I really like the themes, downer themes, but I thought they were cool though, and I thought they were very powerful and well handled. And yeah. The next book is The Sea of Monsters, Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. This book was fantastic. I've read this book before, and I reread it again this year, and I thought it was fantastic. Like, this book is so far, I don't really know right now. I have to see soon, but it is technically still my favorite book in the series. I've not finished the series though, but I'm about to. Something I love about, I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't know, but like back in the day, back like in like from like 2009 to like 2018 or something like that, 2019, but from like that period of time, from like the dystopian era, like with the Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Divergent, things like that, Percy Jackson. I love, this is not, I thought this was the original cover. Oh my god, this is not the original oh, I thought I had the original cover. Oh man, wow. I was gonna tell you guys how much I love the OG covers of like that era. Like, in my opinion, every single one of them nailed the covers like perfectly. I'm like, I want to read that. But yeah, but I was just like, but this is pretty cool too. But like, I don't know, man, like the OG covers, man, the OG covers were so sweet to me. Like with that giant eye and they just run across the bridge. Every time I see them, I'm just like, yo, I gotta pick that book up. Like, I gotta pick that book up. Like, but yeah, I love the OG covers. Something I realized recently about this book is that I think Tyson might be my favorite character in like the whole series. I'm on book 5 now, and I'm like, yeah, I love Tyson. Like, Tyson is awesome. Like, so that's cool. I thought the camp was much more interesting. I don't know what was going through my head when I first read the first book, Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, but like recently, when I read it recently, but like I was expecting it to be much more like the movie, just like the pace of it, and the first half of the book was like much more at camp. And I don't know why, but I was just like, yo, why they still at Camp Dog? Like, get to your adventure, dog. Like, but eventually they did. And I feel like the second book, I don't know why, but like I just felt much more in tune with the camp stuff, and I was just like, I dug it a lot more, found it a lot more engaging, and just much more like just readable and like enjoyable, I guess. But yeah, I'd say I guess another reason of that would probably be because it felt better paced, and maybe just in my head I wasn't expecting a movie pace for a book, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, maybe that's why it felt better in your head. Like, but yeah, that book lived up to the hype. And the next book is a classic, Green Eggs and Ham. This book is fan-freaking-tastic. It lived up to the hype, of course. I saw this at Eastern Michigan College, and they had a free little library. I was just like, yo, let me see what's in there. And this book was in there. So one of the college students was reading these, and I was like, why not read this? Like, easy, quick read, you know? And yeah, it's so good. It's a great book. I love the art. It's very classic, very It looks very timeless. I feel like I think the Who's what their species is. They're very timeless, like very iconic too. Like well known, right? Mr. Seuss was sauced up in the stew. But something about this book though, it made me think of an idea. Like, could you rap these books, or you don't have to rap them? It just made sense to rap them. But like, could you sing or rap these books? Like, if there was a proper beat for this stuff, could you like rhyme and rap this book? Like, wouldn't that be sweet? You know? And the next book that lived up to the hype was actually my favorite book of all 2025, and that was Annihilation, and it was my book of the year. I thought this book was absolutely spectacular, awesome-tacular, awesome and spectacular, fantacular, fantastic and spectacular. But this was my third time reading this book, and this time I felt a lot more comprehensive. Like this time I felt like I actually like understood like damn near every word I was reading. Like everything flowed. Like I feel like I could even imagine. It's probably because I've seen the movie, and the movie helps just like get you into like just like imagine the world a little easier. And so I feel like I can imagine everything a lot crispier. What the book was presenting though. Like I wasn't imagining what the movie was showing me. I was imagining what the book was showing me, you know, and that made it a lot more fun. So originally though, when I first read this book, not originally, because I don't remember the score I gave this book when I first read it. I don't even think I gave it a score. But the second time I read it, I gave it a 3.75, and that's just because like, funny thing, I read this book in 2024. It was my favorite book of 2024, and then I reread it again in 2025, and yes, it was my favorite book of 2025. But like I only did that just because like I had a feeling if I read this book one more time, I'd just gain like a new like access level of understanding. And I was right, I did. And I was like, yo, like this book is as amazing as my 3.75 brain thought it could be. And then I read it that third time, I was like, yeah, it is a 5-star. This book is fucking amazing. Like it is so sweet. Like, so yeah, so I don't really care. That's my favorite twice in a year in a row. Like, it might be a third. Just joking. For real though. But yeah. The next book is a comic book. It is the absolute Batman. I don't think you can see this too well because it's glossy. But yeah. Absolute Batman, I absolute recommend for sure. I was instantly hooked from the title, Absolute Batman. I'm like, absolute yes. The art is fantastic. Look at how big this Batman looks. Look at how huge this Batman looks. That's a big ass Batman. Like, and the story cooks. Like it's sauced up. Yeah. And the next, that was also a 5-star, by the way. And the next book to live up to the hype was another book in the Percy Jackson series, and that is Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. This is the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series, and this book actually might be my favorite book in the series. I can't technically say it is yet because I haven't finished the series, but like I know I used to, like, it was my truth that the second book was my favorite book in the series. I hadn't read the rest yet, but at that point that's what it was. And then I made it to this point and I was like, oh, this book is sauced. Like, I like this I like this book a lot. This book was good. It was really good. Like, Annabeth and Percy, I love them in this book so much. Annabeth, I was like, yes, Annabeth, you go, girl. But yeah, I like the growth in relationship between the characters and stuff like that. I like that. I feel like they actually took steps forward in this book, and I was like, yo, let's go. Motion, free the motion, you know? But there was a lot of action. I thought the action was really good. I thought the action was very exciting. I also felt like I can imagine it pretty well. That fight against, I forgot his name, but like the scorpion dude, maybe with like the tail. He's got like 4 legs or something. Like a scorpion body, kind of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson in like the Mummy movie. That's how I imagine him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I imagine him to look. But I thought this book, just like the second book, was extremely well paced. Kept me super engaged. I don't remember how long it took me to read it, but not that long. Yeah, and that's Lived Up to the Hype. The next book that lived up to the hype was Ready Player One, and this book was, you know what's weird? Apparently I'm on my Fable or something like that. I didn't give this book like a 4-star or something. I think I gave it a 3 something. And I was just like, yo, in my head, I really enjoyed this book. Like, but I don't know if my Fable score reflects that. Like, I'm just like, yo, I really like this book in my head. Like, every time I think about it, I'm like, yes, I actually really want to like reread it again or something like that. I hear that story again. But yeah. Okay, so I just checked my Fable, and it turns out I did give it above 4 stars, which makes sense because that's how I felt about it. And I was just like, why am I thinking I gave it lower than that? But I thought this book had a very fun concept. I don't really think there's other books really like that. At least I can't really think of it. Like, I mean, I guess that story maybe has been done like in like a fantasy type setting, but I would say that was more like futuristic sci-fi. But I guess sci-fi requires space, and that took place on Earth. But it does feel like some type of technology, like advanced thing, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it's like fantasy, and I wouldn't say it's full-blown sci-fi either. It's like some type of layer below that. But yeah, I don't know. But I thought that had, like I said, a fun concept. But I thought the concept kind of made it very predictable about what was gonna happen. I've played a shit ton of video games, and I just like kind of thought of like a lot of video games, how they progress. I'm guessing he's gonna take these steps like a video game, and he did. But yeah, and I also thought like the main character had limited character growth, and compared to like all the other like side characters, I'm guessing the author did this on purpose, but like all the like side characters actually had like, I don't want to say like motives, whatever they are, but I felt like his motives, in my personal opinion, were a little bit lacking. I was just like, that's our main lead, like that's what he's I wants to achieve this ultimate goal for. And I was just like, okay, cool, dog. I guess somebody wants to do that, right? Somebody's gotta want to do that. But yeah. But other than that, though, I was like, made me wonder about the second book, because I've heard the second book is not as good. I'm just like, so what do they even do with that? Like, does he get new motives or something? I don't know. But that lived up to the hype, I do know. Okay, and the next book that lived up to the hype, also the last book that lived up to the hype of 2025, and also probably, I think, the last book I read in 2025 was a book called Restart by Gordon Corman. This book was sauced. I listened majority of it on audiobook because I was working, and I just like listened to the book. I thought the voice actors were fan-freaking-tastic. Like, there were multiple voice actors. I forgot what that's called when it's like multiple voice actors and like they like make a like ensemble of people for like the cast and stuff, but yeah, they all did a really good job, and like it made it so. This sounds embarrassing, but when I first read this book, I low-key was so confused why there were so many characters being introduced. I was like, you introduced 2 characters, and then you're like, hey, here's a 3rd one, here's a 4th one, here's a 5th one, and I'm just like, yo, who's the main character? Like. So I didn't really know whose story it was for a second until I listened to the audiobook, and I was just like, it made it click so much easier that like, oh, like these stories about Chase, and everybody else is like just like putting, I forgot what that's called, like it's like one of those books where it's like multiple point of views, 3rd point of view, you know what I'm saying? It's like the first point of view was like one character through their eyes, and then it's like other stories where like you see it through like 5 characters' eyes, you know what I'm saying, from like their first person point of view. I forgot what that's called, but yeah, that was what the story was, and my brain was like having a hard time registering that. And I was just like, and then the audiobook made it easier, and I was like, yeah. But I thought it was memorable. I thought the story was very fun about Chase having an amnesia and having to like basically restart and like, I guess in a way, become more in tune to himself without taking the necessary steps to get there. But yeah, I definitely think the book is rereadable. I plan to reread it again, and I say I ended the year on a high note. Yeah. So interesting, people. What were some books that lived up to the hype for you for 2025 or any other year, or just some books that lived up to the hype in general? Let me know. Thanks for watching.